I talked to Shawn last week and he mentioned how you guys shot the rooftop scenes from 1 and 15 on the same day. And he told me that he didn't know like how involved Abbott was going to be before that scene would come up. I'm curious, is it interesting for you as an EP and a writer to sometimes be in scenes with people? How much do you know that they don't know yet about where their characters are going?
I know everything,
Or,
everything.
or were you in a similar place where you didn't know how it was going to evolve and you had to like do the same kind of work as him?
It sort of sounds like a joke, but it isn't a joke. We shot the scene on the roof at night, and we shot the scene in the park. Uh, but we those scenes didn't exist in any way on a in a script yet. Those scripts hadn't been written. We didn't know quite how we were going to get there. We knew there was going to be a mass casualty event. We knew that Robby was going to have a breakdown. We knew that this was going to be trying for all of our characters. And we wanted to bookend the scene on the roof in the beginning with another scene between the two of them at the end. And we wanted to have a coda scene in the park. But when Abbott says, "Nice speech," I wish I had given him, there was no speech. I don't, we were making that moment up as we did everything else. And then once we had those scenes and we liked them, then it became like, okay, how do we get them up on that roof and to that park? And then it was sort of paint by numbers to kind of fill in the blanks on how to earn that ending that we'd already established.
Episode 15, having the moment with Robby on the roof. It's a beautiful kind of reversal of the your introductory scene in the morning when he's talking you off the proverbial ledge.
I broke. You didn't break. You didn't break.
I shut down. The moment everybody needed me the most, I wasn't there. Couldn't do it. I choked.
For what? For 40 seconds?
Can you talk about like trying to map those two as sort of like similar mirror visions of each other and what it was like building that brotherhood with Noah?
Okay, so we shot that. Okay, so we shoot the show pretty much in chronological order.
Hmm.
Uh, so the very first time you meet Dr. Abbott, he's on the roof, but we couldn't shoot that in order because we actually did that in Pittsburgh.
Hmm.
So my first scene as an actor was coming down the elevator where I give him the letter and tell him and hand everything off to him.
Hmm.
So then we go to Pittsburgh, I don't know, in September. They've already shot like 5 or 6 episodes, and it's my second day, and we're up there shooting the very first scene of me on the roof, and then also the last scene, which I mean, I haven't read anything. All I've read is the first episode. Thankfully, Noah and I have known each other for a while. We've never worked together before, but we've crossed paths quite a bit through our relationship with John. We are also doing a scene for the end, which I'm told there's a mass casualty event, but I just didn't know. I had no real understanding of Abbott's importance there. Working with John and Noah, of course, we've been through things like this where we don't have all of the information. Noah has a lot more than I do. It was his performance was just so incredible. It was John directing us up there on a roof. I think we shot it in like for 4 hours. We took our time with it and we just found it. It was a really remarkable performance that Noah put together.
Obviously, in like the last sequence, we learned that he has a prosthetic leg.
Today was a motherfucker. Have you ever been in anything like that before?
I'm curious, at what point did you know about that? Was it part of the sort of bio? And did it have to factor into your performance at all?
The answer is yes. It was in my bio. We discussed it, how far we wanted to kind of go with the physical attribute to Abbott, and we kind of landed on not making it a thing because we didn't want to give too much away. In prosthetics, the modern prosthetic is pretty incredible, in how you can function and be mobile. In terms of its the revelation in 15, it does come as a surprise to some of the newer characters who are just meeting Abbott on that day, but and more importantly, it's a surprise to the audience. And I think that's the point, really,
Yeah.
because it reminds us that this injury does not define him. He's defined by his strength, his presence, his talent for emergency medicine, and he's the guy that that you want in the room when things are falling apart.
You've gotten so much praise for Robbie's breakdown in episode 13. I also think you do extraordinary work in the finale. I think one scene that really pops to me is between you and Langdon outside. And because it feels like something has really broken there or something has changed between those two men.
You could have come to me. Instead, you could be arrested on felony charges for stealing controlled substances from the hospital. Robbie, I could lose my medical license. Come on, man. You never heard of second chances.
Can you talk me through that scene?
I think you're reading it really well. You know, when we came to shoot that last scene in episode 10 together, we had a stunt coordinator on set. We thought about it getting kind of heated and physical, and then we came to shoot it, and it became so clear that it wasn't a fight scene, it was a breakup scene, that it was this was a sad scene. And then, you know, like any breakup, you know, it's really hard to be in the same room with someone that you felt intimate with and felt betrayed by, even if you have to work next to them, even if they still are good at what they do. You know, it's really tricky to bridge both the professional and the personal at the same time after you've gotten the rug pulled out from underneath you. So that scene in the ambulance bay was, if the first scene was sad and didn't turn it into a fight, this was, okay, now that I've had a second to really think about this, if you're really going to provoke me, you're going to get what's underneath my sadness, which is my anger. He sort of doesn't say or do the right thing in that moment. He could defuse the bomb, and instead he lights the fuse on it.